It's been a long time coming. They ain't come for my club, they tug it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Yo, chickadee check. Hopefully you can hear me. Check, check, 1, 2. What's up, internet? Hang on, I was told to start legging into shorts on the cues. The internet told me that there was an imminent crash. I'm legging in, like they've been saying for the last decade. The mantra of the moronic short. Yeah, we're legging in. Yeah, right. Legging in. All kidding aside, I am actually, I just bought some puts to prove my point one more time that you can't make money as a shorter. My only loss today is 100 shares of the Qs. I lost 82 cents. But our winner was AMD short playing the fade and really haven't done much since. And I'll be right back. Hold on, let me see something. What's going on here? And we're back. I think we're back. You guys should be able to hear me now. Hit the bidders if you want. Please transition over to the YouTube channel so you can see my faccia bruta. So we have a, what's it called? What's their website? What are they called again? You could bet, Polymarket stuff. So the Polymarket bet today is the over under on how many times I say track record this week. We're at 1,000. So if you bet $2 and you go over I go over 1,000 saying the word track record. By the way, we're up 38. We're at 38 already for the day. Track record. That's 39 if you're keeping track. Oh, see, if I say you're keeping track and then I say record afterwards, you could actually qualify that as a track record. Oh, I just said track record again. So we're at 40 now. So the over under on the track record conversation, we're looking at 1,000 for the week, especially after tomorrow doing a promotion. I'm going to mention the word track record 2,000 to 3,000 times. So, yeah. Wow, that's very aggressive. To hell with GA. Go Jackets. Wow. Hey, listen, man, this is the only thing I have right now. And they're not that good. Their defense stinks. They're probably the most overrated team in the SEC after Texas, obviously. But you guys sports gamble? Hit the parlay, the anti-Glick parlay, phenomenal. What's the anti-Glick parlay, you ask? You bet against the Jets, you bet against the Giants, you bet against the Ravens, and you bet against the Yankees. 4 for 4, baby. Cheers. And I didn't even watch any games yesterday. I was on a plane, and thankfully, I'm done. I haven't watched the Jets game really since, again, I thought opening week was the Super Bowl. They couldn't beat Rodgers. He lit them up right there. You knew the Jets were the same old Jets. You got to come out and beat Pittsburgh on day one. And now, if you look at the Jets schedule, who are they beating? They might not win any games this year. And you've got the Giants, who sort of looked all right, got exciting, and then you realize they're the same. They're the same team too. So if you don't know about the Ravens, my son, fuckhead that he is, left his wallet in that man's hand. It's crazy. The Ravens, my son, when all the Jets had to do was win those last two games. Back when they beat the Patriots, and then all they had to do was beat the Rex Ryan, the Bills at the time, right? Yeah, whatever the hell it was, right? Jets, all they had to do was win one more game, and they would have made the playoffs. They got past the New England, and they lost the next week. So I started breaking some shit in my house. My wife's yelling at me. My son starts crying because it got nasty and violent. I just started just getting pissed. Everyone's crying. Everybody's upset. And my dad and my son's like, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to be a Jets fan any longer. And then he just glommed on to the hot team. And I like Lamar Jackson. He's a loser. He's the damn. By the way, Aaron Judge is the Lamar Jackson of baseball. Sad, but Aaron Judge is a loser. It's not Captain Obvious, right? He's a loser. There are players that just are losers. Derek Jeter, right? When you look at his statistics, yeah, he was a good player. Wasn't great, but he's a winner. That made him great. Aaron Judge is a loser. He's a loser. The Yankees are losers, right? Since if you believe in the Matrix and all that spirituality behind, trends and streaks and stuff like that. And, obviously we all do believe in streaks and trends and that stuff. When you lose to your rival after owning the Red Sox for 100 years, and then you go up, you're the only team in the history of sports, right? When you're the only team in the history of sports to lose a 3-game lead in the playoffs, your franchise is done. And they've been done, and they continue to be done. Just like the Jets. The Jets are something spiritual. If you don't catch the spirituality there, right? It's beyond sports to me, right? The Jets sucking the way they do, it transcends sports. And if you're a true Jets fan, which I am since birth, and I like the Giants too. I don't root against New York teams. I hate people who, Yankee fans that hate on the Mets, or Giant fans or hate on the Jets. I'm a New York guy. As a matter of fact, I'm a Brewers fan now. Where's my Brewers hat? I don't know. I got a Brewers hat somewhere. I got to go dig it up. I thought I had it out. Anyway, there's something spiritual there, right? And I believe in the Joe Namath curse. I believe that Joe Namath, to win that Super Bowl, sold the franchise to whatever demonic entity you believe in. Because it's something. It's something to behold. To watch. And again, I don't even like football anymore because there's too many flags and no rules. It's just a joke of a sport, manipulated, awful. Really is the worst sport to watch. It's really terrible. College football is kind of bad too because it's just not quality play. But at least their kids having a fun time. But man, NFL, awful. And Harbaugh, the worst. He's the worst. The guy gets a pass. He's garbage. But talking about trading, right? And again, I got no trades. I don't give a shit about what's happening right now. We'll talk about track records in a second, right? But trading and sports gambling is exactly the same. You keep your emotions out of it, right? And you bet streaks and trends. That's what you do. That's how you make money, right? So what's the trend? The one trend that hasn't broke is the Jets suck, right? So no matter what you do, consistently bet against the Jets. It's a given, right? And that's what's bizarre about it. Stocks will break their downtrends and have a couple of moments. The Jets don't seem to get that moment, right? The cyclical nature of the sport lends to the idea that there'll be a turn. And for some reason, they don't have that turn. Other teams will rise and fall. The Jets consistently suck. And it's something to behold. And you bet by taking your emotion out of the game. I'm a Jets fan. I bet the under every year. I bet against them every week. I don't care. And I don't go like heavy. I bet to just quench the disgust, right? Because I mean, how aggressively are you going to get? How aggressive are you going to get? Where you're actually, I don't want to have to sit there rooting against them. You know, if I'm betting thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, oh, I'm rooting against them. You know, you bet you 200-300, you win. Yeah, you paid for your dinner going out that night, thanks to the Jets. You know, that's where you keep it casual. You keep it, but you hit a 4-4, a 4-for-4 parlay. You put $100 on it, you win yourself $600, right? It's tough going 4-for-4. Anti-Glick bet. And the Ravens are done. Done. They had their moment. It's over. Their defense is garbage, and Lamar's a loser. They're done. Like that, they had their chance 3 times. When they got smoked by the Titans that year, you knew something was wrong. But to equate that back to sports gambling, right? You guys know the market doesn't go down anymore, right? Right? That's something's broken right now. The market's broken to only go up. Whether you think it's broken or not, well, to me, again, I was accustomed to a market that did a certain thing over the last 20, 30 years. That market doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it comes back, but right now, the trend of the market is we're never going down, right? There is zero reason to sell unless you're just trying to play a fade. And what is a fade? A fade is just shorting, right? Shorting an AMD trade at the open and then getting a confirmation that you're short right there is worth taking again. And that's it. If you're a day trader, the fade is the trade. Because think about the people that have bought AMD because my track record is intact. So when people ask me, hey, last week, what do you think about AMD? I'm like, AMD is my favorite stock right now because I think it's going to have a catch-up trade to NVIDIA and the rest of the stocks. And I believe, space rockets, robots, quantum is where you want your money to be. And so now I told people to buy AMD, right? So they're in. So this morning they woke up and they said, holy shit, thank God Kenny Glick and his track record has been on such fire lately. So what did I tell those people to do this morning? Sell the open, right? Because when you have a profit so big, there's usually selling at the open. Why? Profit taking. So that profit taking is the only opportunity to make money as a shorter. So the first thing is to short the open, reversion to the VWAP trade. Bang. Track record intact. But the second trade was equally as good because it was confirmed by the VWAP. Broke the VWAP, you had to cover your short, and then it rolled back over. Time to short it again. Boom. And here you're thinking orange line, and it starts to rally. The stop was right here. The trade's over, but you made money. And then you went back to my new favorite stock, track record intact, Carmel. So we absolutely kicked ass, and we are in the process of kicking ass in USAR. Still own it. Everybody in it. We are all in it. Track record intact, right? Everybody's in this USAR trade. We love it. $56 is our target. But this morning, it broke VWAP. And even though we thought, or still do think, this stock's going to $56.50, sorry, $56.50 or whatever, it was a short because the VWAP, which is how you day trade, there's only one way to day trade. volume weighted average price, and multiple time frame VWAP. That's it, right? So in the same conversation of me saying this stock's going to 56, then I said, but it's a short right this second. And that, in that sentence, confuses people. You just said the stock was going to 56 and now you're saying to short it? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because you have to separate yourself as a day trader, swinger, investor. I'm an investor now in USAR. I believe it is going to $56. I'm in from last week when it broke 20. Stop right there. But when a stock breaks VWAP that has ripped and rolled, that's a trade, right? That's a trade. So what we do for a living is we take the high quality trades like shorting USAR, blue line, to orange line. We understand that the stock is still going to 56, and we understand that this is just a fade from people that were in it who decided to take short-term profits from 18 or 20 or 21 like we were buying it, right? So you can like a stock for a swing and an investment, but at the same time, crush it when it's crushable, and then take some of that money and buy more of the stock. This is exactly what we did. That's what I did, right? So made money on a short. There's the fake out, shake out to the VWAP. Don't want to be short anymore. The short for the day is over. And now we're just back in our investment, thinking the stock's going to 56 and maybe even trade it long. You know, again, still hasn't really broken out. It's consolidating between prior day VWAP and one day VWAP right now. And that's exactly why I do this live. Because if you hear me say that out loud, it doesn't make any sense, right? To someone who's brand new to this or who just doesn't understand the concepts, right? You have to separate yourself from day trading, swing trading, and investing. It's completely different beasts, right? So what I like to do is I like to day trade around stocks that I own, right? For instance, I own a shit ton of silver, but I shorted AGQ last week. Why? Because it broke VWAP and it rolled over. Nothing's going to convince me that silver's not going over 50 to 80 to 120. But Kenny, you just shorted it. Yes, just for 20 minutes. That's all I wanted. Just 20 minutes. It was selling off last week. We hit it and we quit it. Doesn't change the overall perspective of where silver's going once it breaks 50 and then goes to 80 and 120. Same thing with every one of my trades. So that's why this track record conversation, right, is I could go back to 2011. I was on a show called Cheddar. You guys know Cheddar? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I was at a thing called Stocktoberfest. Maybe you heard of it when it was kind of cool. Now it's not. But I was interviewed and everybody was giving their favorite stock at the time. And I came on and I was, my snarky, cynical, jaded, douchey self. And they said, "What's your favorite stock?" And I was like, "I love AMD." They're like, "AMD?" I'm like, "Yeah, AMD, the forgotten chip stock." They're like, "So what's your premise?" I'm like, "Well, first of all, it's coming out of a prolonged downtrend, and Goldman Sachs just downgraded the stock." And then he said, "That's why you like it now?" I'm like, "Yeah, because if Goldman Sachs is making an effort to tell you to stay short of $4 stock, they're probably buying it. And they don't want people to buy it yet. So they're telling you to short it." And the legend of AMD was born. So is that part of my track record? I said it. I was actually on camera, on the TV somewhere in 2011 with a drink in my hand, talking about how you can't trust Goldman Sachs sounding all jaded and cynical, talking about buying AMD at $4 because they put a sell recommendation on at 4. Who does that? That's like those people that were recommending to short Carvana when it broke 10. The stock had fallen from 365 to 10. And people are still recommending to short it. So I was like, this is probably the best buying opportunity in the history of ever, because the chart was telling me Carvana was done going down. And if it just could pivot over, 1250, it could go to 56 and then 90 and then possibly 180. I didn't think it was going to go back to 300, but that brings me to the CRML, right? This stock started as a joke, right? Because we made money in USAR, I was like, why? See that, Grandma? I curbed my language for you. I said, how are you not buying a stock after we just did so well in USA rare earths, which was the entire premise for buying the stock? USA rare earths in a bull market from hell? I don't even care if they do rare earths. I'm buying the stock. There's a USA in the name and in the ticker. I'm in. That's how this trade started. And of course, the chart from a year ago. You see the uptrend? You see the orange line that you're going to need in your life? This orange line, look at that. Because I thought this trade was over. I was like, oh man, we're breaking down under that yearly VWAP. This thing's going back down to $10. And then it held and held and held again and then started rallying. And then I bought it back late. But I'd rather be late and right than early and wrong. So then when this critical metal came around the other day, and I'm thinking, holy shit, look at this thing I missed. Yearly VWAP break. There's the Kardashian bottom, right? One of the most beautiful Kardashian bottoms ever. Boom, butt cheek. Yearly VWAP break, Kardashian bottom break, holds the break. I didn't learn of this stock's existence until right here, about a couple of weeks ago. What is it? About 2-3 months ago. It's been on my radar, right? But I didn't get excited until it broke double tops. And for a second, we thought it was just another pump and dump. But that's what you want to own in this market. You want to own the whole market's a pump and dump, right? It's eventually going to get dumped at some point, maybe in 2028. But this is the premise of the market. So going back to doing things that work over and over again, like betting against the Jets and betting against the Yankees, it continues to work. So keep doing it. So if they're going to keep running stocks because of the name of the company, right? I don't care if this company, and first of all, we were having this discussion, fundamentals versus technicals. Does anybody care if critical metals makes money? No, you don't. And then back to the track record conversation, right? Full disclosure, I don't own the stock. I traded it twice last week, and now it has exploded. Now, some people, and again, let's have this conversation, and I really mean this is a really genuine conversation. I hope you're appreciating this, because this track record conversation is a very, very, it's an emotional thing for me, because it questions what I'm doing here. And I'm having a serious conversation with you. I hope you appreciate this, right? It's an existential crisis of what I'm doing, what do I represent, and what do people care about, right? So for instance, I got a couple of texts this morning. Hey, thanks for that AMD trade. You're the man. So sick. I can't believe what I'm looking at. Do I own it? No. Critical metals. I just got a text. Dude, how are you not in the stock? Dude, I know. See that? Yes, thank you. I know. I get it. Why don't I buy it now? He says, right. Yeah, I'm going to buy it now. Now, if I buy it now, it'll be at $4 by the end of the day. So there's the existential crisis. What I have realized over 30 years is what do I do best? is I help other people. And the skin in the game slash, it's a very, very thin line there. Track record, skin in the game. I can't possibly be in all of these trades. There's so much going on. Back in the day, we traded the same 20 stocks every day for years because there was no, now there's 20 million trades to choose from. I try to stay focused on breakouts and VWAP retracements, and that's why I love earnings season, because then I have a focus list every day. I trade earnings. But right now, everything has exploding volume. Everything is working. So let's go back to this track record conversation. So if my job, and we've had this conversation, I'm just trying to see if you guys can appreciate this. And by the way, if you have taken any of the trades that I've suggested over the last month, 2 months, or however long we've been doing these midday shows, please send them in to Kenny at, is it Hit the Bid TV? Yes, Kenny at Hit the Bid TV. That'll go to my corporate overlords. Kenny at hitthebid.tv. And just like a few people sent me text, send your emails in and say, Kenny got me into AMD last week, because that's the track record that means something to me. But as a guru in the industry, right? Some people are just confused at what that even means anymore, right? The term guru has been stepped on and destroyed. It's a negative connotation now. I am truly a guru. I am on a mission to make sure people that are listening to me make money. That's my sole purpose on earth, my sole purpose for my existence. So when I'm questioned about it, right, or even ridiculed, right, or if there's a debate, that's why this track record thing, it's so insignificant to what we're trying to do here, right? What I do with my money, is that the track record? Because let me ask you a question. Let's say I'm long 40,000 shares of USAR from $7, right? Okay. I'm up huge. Okay. And my next 100 ideas that I give out to the rooms and my members all suck. And I go, well, I'm up huge. I'm up huge on that USAR. How are you going to feel about it? You're going to feel pretty miserable about it, right? So my point here, and I'm starting to break out into a sweat because I'm going to hit the over on the track record. Oh, you like this shirt too? My daughter bought me this. So if my purpose in life, right, if what I'm getting paid for by you, and I appreciate every person that's ever bought into the chat room. I appreciate anybody that comes to the chat room. I appreciate everybody that does anything that you've put up your hard-earned money to be a part of what we do. What do you care about mostly? You care about, Kenny, make me money. You don't care about what I'm doing with my money. You care about if I give you good ideas. That's what I do, right? So that, to me, if I had to write it out, what is my job? My job is to show up each day and try to do my best to find you ideas, to navigate you through the day. And not even that, navigate you through the day, give you some insight into the environment, try to help you navigate through the weeks, maybe even the years. And like I've been trying to instill into you, that I'm a victim of this market. I'm a bear. The market never goes down. I'm a loser. I am the Lamar Jackson of trading. So, but that doesn't matter. If I go 0 for 78 in my account, you should just feel bad for me. It's what I tell you to do, keep you involved in, and keep bringing to the table, right? That's the important thing. So what I'm asking is that we're about to do a couple of promotions and other people that don't know who I am, and they're bent on the track record, right? So what I'm asking you, my friends, if you've had some success with us, if you own CRML right now, if you're in the USAR or the AMD, or maybe you've been long the queues since I begged you to buy them on May 12th after the power gap, and I said the market will not be going down anymore this year. And you've been long ever since. So help me, because I've helped you to then help me. Because what I do now for a living is this. And I'm pretty good at it. And then we'll stop right there. All right, let me get a cup of coffee. We'll talk more about where this critical metal is going to go, how cheap these USAR options are, the understanding that this market, and I got to talk about, we've got some hedge fund guys, some real scholarly fellas talking about warning signs that they've been seeing in the market. And I say, you're wrong. And so far, I'm right and they're wrong. And these are guys that have been in the business of, 20, 30 years. They're seeing things that they haven't seen in 20, 30 years. They're seeing things that have predicted the market's downturn 90% of the time. And I'm saying, I'll take the other 10% because I know they're going to be wrong. Because the most important part about what we do here, right? We know the Jets suck, right? And we also know this market's not going down. So when the Jets don't suck, right? That's when you stop betting against them. And when's that? Never. When the market starts to go down, maybe then you sell, which is never. So when it happens, then you sell. Oh, it is that easy. Like stocks like SRAD, right? This stock is dog shit, right? It had a great month. It had a great move. We did very well. Hopefully you sold it. And as I explained, that stocks that do this really well, there were really no analysts talking about it. You had a couple. And then suddenly up in the 30s, it got upgraded once, it got upgraded twice, it got upgraded 3 times. I'm like, oh my God, 3 upgrades, huh? Great. Let's start to sell the stock. Because that's the easiest form of manipulation that I've learned about in doing this for 30 years. Upgrades or downgrades. Upgrades or sells. When you see a courageous analyst come along and upgrade a stock that's in a downtrend, that's the guy that you pay attention to. When they're upgrading stocks at all-time highs after a 100% move, they're trying to cushion the blow of their hedge fund buddy that wants to dump the stock. That's how it works. That's why I love when they downgrade my stock. I love it. I love being in a stock when they're downgrading it. And you notice that the stock doesn't go down that day. It starts down. They try to manipulate the stock by downgrading it to scare people. And then you see it break VWAP and it rallies. Since the upgrades in SRAD, what have we done? We've got the first downtrend that the stock's had in a year. Not a coincidence. The stock is dog shit, right? You have a stock that goes down 3 days in a row in this market. You got a stock that went down 3 days in a row in a market that never goes down. Your stock is dog shit. Sell it. And I should have sold this a long time ago. And now I'm going down with the ship because I'm an investor now. I mean, I planned on being an investor, but I'm insulted. And I'm insulted, literally, that's the word for it. I'm insulted. I own a stock that went down not just 3 days in a row. Now it's gone down maybe 5 or 7 days in a row. They're bleeding this thing to death. There's obviously a seller out there. You obviously look where it looks like it's headed down to $24.26. And hopefully it holds that 1-year VWAP. The whole premise of why we bought it in the first place, bang, coming off that candle. But that's the dilemma that we've been having. And now for the fun part. This week, we're doing a lot of broadcasts. If you guys want to get a little heads up into some of these VWAP trades that I talk about. We're going to do a presentation tomorrow. We're going to be doing a presentation on Thursday. And then in February, I'm going to Vegas. And I got 2 presentations, and they probably will be free. So if you're looking for an excuse to go to Vegas, tell them you're coming to a symposium of VWAP with your friend Kenny Glick at the Paris Hotel, February 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I believe it is. And, again, that's what I'm telling my wife. She's like, why are you going to Vegas again? I'm like, I'm doing a VWAP presentation, which I am, but that's going to be basically, an hour and 45 minutes of our time there. And that's the only time we're going to be at the symposium. We'll do my little bit, and then we'll just go party. You guys ever been to the Cosmo? Karaoke Tuesdays, baby, at the Cosmo. Shit ton of fun. And then we go to the upstairs. They have a great outdoor area to party. And then we'll go clubbing at the Omni. I'll be right back. So, back to track records, right? What I'm hoping to do over the next couple of weeks is have everybody see if we're going to do a seminar. I think the best seminar that could ever happen was just me being the host and interviewing you, right? I think that would be something special, right? You understand what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested, I want to do a bit, or I want to do a little vignette. And if you've been in my presence, which a lot of you have been for years, if not decades, and you've had success, I'd like to interview you. I'll be the host, and we'll talk about how your trading's been going since being involved in the Hit the Bid chat room, whether it's been beneficial, And again, I have heard only positive things. And the one person that criticized me, right? And if you guys remember, he was blaming me for something, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're talking about one trade, right? He's like, yeah, man, but that's the one I loaded up on. I'm like, okay, well, you chose to load up on that one. It didn't work. It's one trade. And once he calmed down, we had a conversation. And I was like, listen, man, you said some really hurtful things about me on the internet. People read that. And, I know it's just 1 or 2 people, right? But I said, listen, man, what you did right now, what you did to me is almost criminal. You did one bad trade. Yeah, I get it. I recommended the stock. You loaded up and it went down 2 points that day. And by the way, the trade was CRDO at 1750. It went down like 3 points the next day. The stock's up 120 points since that day. So if you're out there, I hope you still own it. And the guy apologized to me, right? He's like, yeah, man, you're right. I just got emotional about it. I finally load up on a trade, and that's the one that doesn't work. I'm like, welcome to my life. And that's my life. And that's why this track record conversation, you don't want my literal track record. I'm digging out of the UVXY disaster probably for the next 5 years. It's going to take me 5 years to make that money back. No joke. And I'm proud of when I say that out loud, because nobody owns up to blowing themselves up. This late into my career, I shouldn't have any blowups. And if you don't know, last August 5th was the end of my career. All right, I'll say it. And I've been saying it. It ended me. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, what am I going to do now? That's how bad it was. And it wasn't it was life altering. Here I was again, living that same moment I lived in 2012, all these years later. I didn't tell my wife about it for 3 months. That's how bad it was. I went to therapy. Never been to therapy in my life. I was like, I feel bad. I'm hiding this thing from my wife. I can't really tell her why I'm in such a lousy mood right now. She doesn't really appreciate it. And it happened. And there's nothing I could do about it now. I know the mistake that I made. I was over leveraged in an account that didn't have enough money. I got a margin call for the first time in my life. It was terrible. And I'm going to be digging out of that hole for quite some time. So, maybe this makes me a bad guy. I look at it as another moment where I became a better trader to do my job for you. Right? So I learned my lesson. Well, you'd think I would have learned my lesson already. I've had 3.5 blowups where most people wouldn't be able to come back from. But I sucked it up. I cried about it for about a week and a half, literally. And what am I going to do? The VWAP trades still work well. So let's go back and focus on those trades and let's start working again. Right? So when people say, and again, and I'm going to say this one's going to really piss some people off, right? So when people say, hey, man, do you make money as a trader? My answer is no. Because if I have to make back everything I lost in 20, whatever last year was. So until I make that money back, I'm a non-profitable trader. I can make money 8 days in a row. And somebody says, hey, you're making money? No, I'm not. Because I got to dig out of that hole now. So I might be an unprofitable trader now for a decade. So that goes back to the track record. Does anybody give a shit about my UVXY debacle? Nope. You care about this USAR, the TMC, me getting you into rigatoni at 92 cents, me telling you about this QQQ, how you power gapped on May 12th and we're never going down. You care about what's happening right now. I do own some silver. Yeah. So, listen, I'm amazed as anybody else that I've been buying silver for a decade now, and it's actually working out. I really do think we're going to 50, then 80, then 120. But it's such a bizarro business that we're in, where what I think is important, I'm being told isn't important, and I don't agree. And I'm a very strong, opinionated person, and I never stop talking. So this is how I deal with things, right? I talk about it. I'm curious how other people respond. And that goes back to this whole bullshit of the track record and the win-loss rate, right? So if people on the internet, right, need some illusion, I'm here to break the illusion. And maybe that's not a good sales tactic, but if you put me in front of an audience for 2 weeks, which is what you get with me, you will know that I am the truth because I am a purveyor of a trade that I've worked on for a decade. My track record as a human being, as a trader, sucks right now. Right? Right? I suck. I allowed a trade to get so out of control that it not just ended. I don't want to make you guys think, get all sad and melancholy, but I was on the edge of, if I didn't have kids, I wrote a list of why I should go on. You understand what I'm saying here? I wrote a list that night. Why am I even on this earth right now? That's where I was at that night. So when I'm being told that, oh, my existence doesn't matter because there's no track record, it hurts so badly that most people can't really appreciate that. And also the win-loss ratio, the win-loss, the percentage gain, I'm not sorry, the win track record bullshit, right? You know that you could go 1 for 10 every day. No one's going to buy into that track record. But if you go 1 for 10 every day, but the one trade is a monster and your 9 are small losses that you used proper risk management and money management, 9 small losses and 1 large win, you are making money, which is the end of the story, which blows up the whole track record and win-loss ratio. Nobody has to go 90% to make money in the market. You just need proper risk management and money management. And that's a part of what we teach you each day in the room. And then also, if your stock goes down 3 days in a row in a bull market, your stock's a dick. That's a technical term, like SRAD. Stock's a dick. VWAP is a dick. How dare you go down more than 1 or 2 days, especially 3 days in a row or 5 days in a row? Your stock's a dick. Like even this piece of shit Clove, right? It goes down. It sucks. I've owned it for a year now. It's basically the same price, but at least it comes back every once in a while, right? And it fights. It puts up a fight. It gives you hope. So to summarize, right? What are we doing here every day? What am I doing here? I know for a fact what I'm good at. This, navigating for other people. Ask me questions, I'll give you my advice. My advice is pretty damn good. But literally, I'm cursed, like the Jets. I could have a good 8 years in a row and give back almost all of it in a night. Think about it. Well, not 8 years. Basically, give back 4 years of my life in one night. And at that point, I started to make, I'm trying to make new decisions, right? As I make new decisions every day. It's a really blessed and charmed life to do something that you enjoy. And I take joy living vicariously through other people. So, once again, if you have made some money, if you've made some money, if you're in the queues, maybe you're in AMD, whatever the case may be, take a second right now and send those confirmations or your trades to Kenny at hitthebid.tv. And let's bask in the glory of what I do best, which is help other people. I am cursed. I am the Jets. I am the Aaron Judge or the Lamar Jackson of trading. I can get to it. I can never get through that holy grail of awesomeness. But especially for the 2 people that texted me this morning with the AMD, they don't care. I'm their hero, which helps me get through the moments that I had to get through last year. And by the way, if you haven't noticed since we've been sitting here, I was short the cues right there. I mean, I quickly sold, covered and lost my money, but every day is the same day. Every day is the same exact day. So if you're trading around VWAP, right? And the faux show bro VWAP break, just like betting against the Jets, works every time, keep doing it, right? So, oh man, I thought this market might sell off today after 8, blah, blah. Okay, great. I'm glad you thought that. But then it breaks a new low, comes right back, and then breaks VWAP. That's the faux show, bro. VWAP break. I hear the trade works every time because it does. And if you can learn it and understand it, get the VWAP, get the multiple time frame VWAP on your chart, and we all live happily ever after. And then I do my job. My job is to navigate this market for you, not for me. Right? Because, you know, I've been told, well, nobody wants to hear that you're not trading all these ideas. And I say, bullshit. Because nobody's trading all these. Nobody's putting on 37 trades a day. But I find 30 good trades a day because I'm looking and finding. I'm like, hey, this one looks good here. This blah, 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 blah. And we're in, we're out, we're up. I set the parameters. I could give the ideas. But once I'm in something, next thing you know, that's all I'm doing. Like if you short an AMD this morning, that's what you did. You shorted AMD, that's all you did. Right? It was a fantastic trade. Nobody needs to trade anymore today, right? AMD fade. And by the way, the AMD, whoa, coming out of that Andy Dufresne. I wouldn't want to be short anymore. The fade worked twice. You're looking like you want to come out. By the way, I think the Qs are hitting all-time highs. So that's where we're at, right? I don't know how to do anything else, really. Like, I don't know how to do anything else but than to tell my authentic story. And my authentic story, it's been rough. And my authentic story is that I have an addiction problem to shorting the Qs. I have an addiction problem. I have to face my addiction every day because, damn, I seriously want to make money shorting. Hang on. As a matter of fact, I'm short. Oh, my God, I'm shorting something. Wait a minute. They're all rolling over right now. Wait a second. Wait. There's a lot of blow-off tops going on right now. Hang on a second. USAR, TMC, and CRML just got smashed. I'm going to short TMC because it's the only one that's shortable. Hang on a second. You know what? I'm not going to short TMC because it already did 1 minute to the multi-day, so now I got to wait for it to bounce. Bounces and then rolls, maybe I short it. See, I already talked myself out of that trade. But I will short it if it rolls. You know what? We're talking about 6 cents. Screw it. Hang on a second. All right, I'm short. I'm short now. Now there's nothing I can do about it. TMC short, 747. Let's go. 747 short because I don't have to risk any more than the top of this candle. 756 out, right? So if you're short here at 747, you're risking basically 9 cents. That's all I'm giving it because shorting is short-lived and it doesn't work and it sucks. Every stock up 1,000. But here, I can do this trade knowing that I'm probably going to lose because shorting sucks, but I got to take a shot because it's doing what I want it to do. Falls, bounces, and rolls, right? And if it rolls through that prior day VWAP, usually we go down more. Here you go. All right, so if you got 3,000 shares from 746, you're up $300 already. Take 1,000 off right here at 37. 37. See, this is where I need my assistant, right? See, now that I'm in a trade, now I don't want to do anything else but talk about TMC. Who's short TMC? 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Cover 1,000 right there. Track record! Track record! Track record! Now you put a stop on the other 2,000 at break even, knowing you're going to get stopped out because shorting doesn't work, right? So you should be excited that that actually worked for a dime. Take the dime. Get ready to get stopped out. You know what? Cover another 1,000 right here at 740. Boom! 740 track record, and now put the stop at 746 on the other 1,000 and quickly get out because it's going to go against you because nothing ever fucking goes down, ever. Done. Out. Trade's over. Out. TMC short. Done. 746 out. That's it. There you go. That's trading. Right? Right? That move right there, that 11 cents is more than half of Americans make all day. 3,000 shares, 747, cover 36, cover 35, cover 46. Must have been some bullshit news on rare earths. Right. So now you got new generational low. Every time a stock pulls back, you have to assume, okay, that's new generational lows now, and the stock will go 10x from there in the next couple of days. So I'm living proof, right, my friends, that shorting doesn't work. If you're going to short something, that's it. You might get 9 seconds. Maybe you'll get 2 or 3 minutes. Woo! Right? Think of shorting as my sex life. Either it's not a good idea, it's not happening, or it's going to be really, really short-lived. By the way, my wife, she's got a really great disposition. The other night she says, all right, let's get this over with. That's what's it called? Foreplay. That's foreplay. All right, let's get this over with. That's what she says. By the way, it'll be 25 years in a couple of weeks for me. Let's get this over with. Let's get this over with. Wow. That's sexy, honey. On that note. But really, if you're shorting this market, you're fucking mentally deranged. There you go. There's your first F-bomb of the day. You thought you'd make it without one? And speaking of not shorting, here, right? You waited for 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks for Jemmy to make the turn. Come on now. You guys bought this thing, right? Right? Even this garbage stock that got smacked, right? Once it goes sideways, that's your Andy Dufresne. Now you got to come out of the Andy Dufresne, which is the Kardashian bottom. And hopefully in the next day, or probably tomorrow, you'll be at 28.87, right? And when you break there, you'll be in this candle. And suddenly you're looking at a 31.50 stock. Hey, remember this one? And then it'll be at $46 and breaking all-time highs because the market never goes down. And that's how you trade. Because there's not many stocks that have gone down to give you an opportunity to buy. Like BTQ. You guys know about BTQ? Well, now you know. Hello. You know about BTQ? Where are you? Come on. Brand new stock breaking all-time highs. What is it? Doesn't matter. Broke over 5, got 750. Where's it going? Going to 10. What is it? Who cares? There's a B in it and a Q. You love Bitcoin. You love the Qs. I don't know. Maybe it's a Bitcoin Q stock. What the hell is it? I don't know. I just noticed it the other day. BTQ Technologies. Yeah. Fucking A. You know where this stock's going, right? 10, then 12.50, then 15, and then 100. And until these trades stop working, and why was I buying this thing last week? That's exactly how I explained it. Hit my scanner because it was hitting all-time highs. I'm like, oh shit, what's this? I don't know, but it's hitting all-time highs. And in this market, stocks that break all-time highs go up usually 100%. So add BTQ to the list. Jemmy, right? And by the way, here's another one for you. Fermi, right? Did well the first day, got smoked 3 days in a row now. If it breaks 24.50, right, stock's going to 22.50. It breaks 22.50, it goes to 20. But if it sells off, remember, ARM, before it went parabolic, sold off also, and then it became a real stock. A-Lab was garbage for a while, and then it Andy Dufresne, Kardashian bottom, and broke out and rallied from $65 to $265. So when they turn, they rip. So that's what you wait for. You wait for the turn, and you buy the turn. And right now, SRAD don't look like it's turning. I even lost on a day trade today. Whatever. I sold some for a profit and wound up getting out flat. It's a dog shit piece of garbage. Who goes? What kind of stock goes down in this market? It's dog shit. Because I own it. Track record. My track record for owning stocks for more than 6 months is 0, except for the Qs. I don't even own the Qs anymore. That's my dad holds the Qs. That's why they're going up every day. If I still own the Qs, the whole market would be 0. All right. On that note, tomorrow we're doing a presentation. Wednesday, another one. Then I'm meeting with Steven Van Zandt. You know who Steven Van Zandt is? We're doing a little charity. Steven Van Zandt. You know Steven Van Zandt? Oh, you know that guy. Oh, hey. If you don't, hey, by the way, hit the bidders. Yeah, I'm on. I shut the microphone off in here so it doesn't bleed. I'm doing the shows on the internet. Every day at 11 o'clock, I go live on YouTube, except for Fridays. So, yeah, that's about it. And if you guys don't know, speaking of track records, we have a 600, 800 call spread on the Qs, which is working out lovely. Right? If anybody's in that one, this started as a joke. We went out to the furthest dated ones we could possibly buy. 600s. Remember that? 600, 800 call spread. And now you should get out of the 800s and sell in the 900s. Because by January 2028, we'll probably be closing in on like 900. My prediction for the Qs right now is 1,043 on April 20th, 2028 at 1:43 p.m. And I'll still be doing this. And hopefully when they're there and my father's in good health, guy's 80 years old, still fully invested in high growth because he knows the deal. I'm going to hack his account and I'm going to sell the whole freaking thing. He keeps changing the password because I keep trying to sell the Qs out of his account. True story. That's why I keep my father. He takes some of my advice, but mostly of the time he doesn't. Because he's doing all right along the Qs from 2023. Every dip's a buy. And yeah. I'm sorry about this SRAD, but I warned you. 3 upgrades at all-time highs usually is a good time to sell a stock. And look how much this is percentage-wise now. This is down 25% now since those upgrades. And those guys, they don't get criticized for nothing, right? They went to school for this with MBAs and they know math and shit. I barely made it through high school, cheated my way through college, got a TV radio degree, and I was a minor in acting and singing and dancing. You guys want to see me dance? Yeah, I was in the Nutcracker. Yeah, think about that. I was wearing tights. That's what I did. And here I am doing this stuff now. I thought I was going to be on Broadway. Have a nice day, everybody. Hope you guys are making money. And I'm serious about the track record thing. If you guys have done well, if you've been in part of the room, please send us some emails. And And let's keep this party going. All right. Good hanging out. Thanks for letting me vent. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, loving this market. How could you not? Space rockets, robots, quantum AI, chips, and nuclear. All right. I'm out of here for real.